It is my honor to be with you this night and tell you about our amazing work and what the first 6 months of this year has looked like, as well as what is ahead of us, and how everyone on this call, individually and in our collective networks, can continue to build sustainable power to create political change. And so, as Lily mentioned, in 2020, after serving in many capacities and many roles, across the country and around the world. I recognized we were in a triple crisis. We were facing a global pandemic, uh, an election that was going to be history making, as well as a reckoning on racial justice in this country, with the murder of George Floyd. All of those things, which started in rapid succession, we are still facing and witnessing today. And so, as I was talking to Black women as they were handing out PPE and making sure that our grandmothers were okay in nursing homes, and I was talking to Black women politicos who were still on the front lines for democracy. And I was talking to Black women who were nurses and doctors and who were watching how our communities were being ravaged firsthand, and et cetera. I was on all these chats and in all these groups. I realized there was no hub. There are magnificent organizations, both legacy and new, that are doing the work, but I wanted to see something year round, something that combined the brilliance of Black women who work in these individual places and spaces all across the country, and combine our efforts into organizing capacity and power and leverage that power to get people elected that saw us fully, and would do the work to make sure that we got what we need to build sustainable communities and live good lives. So the mission statement, the passion, the vision of this is to reclaim power for all Black women, to create a future that we want to see, not one that we just merely survive. Hit me, Matt. So starting in 2020, we first went live in September 2020 when Kamala Harris took the nomination for vice president. We soon quickly got on the ground in Georgia in late 2020 as part of the historic Ossoff, uh, oh, what is it? Warnock double Senate win in Georgia. And then in 2021, we went national with a student loan debt campaign where we touched 16 states, and talked to over 58,000 Black women who signed a petition in support of getting some student loan reduction, because student loan debt, again, like the triple crises, like the intersectionality that Black women face, while we were the most educated demographic in this country, we also bore the most student loan debt. And so after growing our reach and our message and finding people that were connected to understanding both the policy, the community, and the electoral, we honed in on 8 key states in 2021, that we continue to be in year round. And those 8 states are Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, and Texas. In addition to those 8 key states that we stay in year round, we also support and uplift work on the ground every year in states that invite us in. We don't go to nobody's house uninvited, but by working with partners and community leaders, we will do work in other key states. So this year, that includes New York and New Jersey as part of those key elections that we understand are a part of continuing to strengthen our democracy. And why? What are we founded on? What are our principles? Um, we believe that there are 8 policy principles and policy pillars that, when achieved both federally and statewide, will better all Black women's lives. As at the bottom of social health wealth indicators all across this country, we know that our health and wellness, our economic justice, our education, our equity, particularly around workplaces, our environmental impact and justice, as well as immigration. Once all of these pillars are realized, in policy that, again, that includes us fully at the table, then our overall well-being will be better, and therefore so will the well-being of our communities and everyone we love. These are not singular policies that are to only help Black women, but identifying these as key areas we understand that we can uplift the entire nation. And so as we go through tonight, I do want to explain 1,000 Women Strong, which started in 2020 as a PAC organization, has now expanded to our three-prong organizations that include 1,000 Women Strong Education Fund, RC3, 1K Women Strong Inc., RC4, and 1,000 Women Strong PAC, which is our political action committee that does name candidate work. So we're going to walk you through all three organizations programming that we have been doing, like I said, up until this point this year, but how that will help foster and fuel what is to come next in the next 18 months. So to kick it off, I'm going to send it back to Lily Jackson, who's going to talk about our voter registration and civic engagement.
Hello again. Our voter registration program is called From the Rolls to the Polls. Cute name to describe our vision of taking 500,000 unregistered Black women voters and guiding them through their voting experience. Using a three-tier approach of digital organizing, civic education, and direct voter contact, 1,000 Women Strong is committed to registering and mobilizing voters in our target states, the ones that Shakia just covered, ensuring that every Black woman we reach has the information and support needed to cast their ballot. So 100% of our target will be touched with digital organizing and education, 80% with direct voter contact with texting and phone banking and personal outreach, and then 20% with partnering with grassroots organizations. Some of y'all who are on this call with us are part of the coalition engagement that we use for this program. Our budget this year is $450,000. And of the goals and the numbers that we hit last year, we had a 10% success rate. So out of 500,000 Black women, 10%, that's not bad, right? So, and you'll see these are the numbers based on each state. For this year, Texas with 159,000. I'm just going to read them out in case they're too small. Texas, 159,000. Pennsylvania, 80,000. North Carolina, 110,000. Michigan, 68,000. New Jersey, 27,000. Virginia, 59. South Carolina, 25,000. New York, 28,000. And Alabama, 30,000. So over 500,000 that we have the goal of reaching.
Hello. So my name is Aja Gaddy. I am the National Outreach Director. And I want to say thank you so much, One, for joining our call tonight so we can let you know how you can get in touch with us and all of the things that we have been doing and we are looking to do. So 2025 has already been an incredible year for outreach. We have been in multiple cities, working with different organizations, working with community members. We started off with the MLK event in Blakely, Georgia, where we were able to actually honor just everyday people doing extraordinary things, as well as going into different work with the youth, where we were able to turn over an old movie theater that we used that day into an actual working movie theater that Blakely is doing. We continue on, as you will be able to actually see and hear a lot more of us. We expanded all of our efforts. You will hear about some of the Earth Day things, but we were not just in one city this year, we were in multiple cities. We were able to hold roundtable discussions with organizers and actual community people. And this year in June, we went on and we launched our fourth fellowship cohort, which is a 3-month paid cohort that basically helps both emergent and seasoned community organizers learn how to do actual learn organizing and actually do the work of community outreach. We were able to actually, through our fellowship, partner with amazing federal and national organizations such as the NAACP and the Poor People's Campaign. We also worked with local such as our Temple University Student Disability Services, where we actually sat down with students to make sure that they were, as Lily was just talking about, registered to vote and had all of their different ways of being able to get to the polls. And also, we continued on with working with our previous fellows. As I said, this is our fourth fellowship. So we work with our previous fellowships through alumni, contacting them monthly and making sure that they are having a great time in their area, still working and helping us out, where they have actually been able to connect with different organizations such as Supermajority, helping to run canvases, to helping to do volunteer recruitment and so forth. We also, of course, we partner, like we said, we are looking at partnership. As Shakia talked about us being a hub, our 1K does not want to do everything, but we want to know those who are doing all the great things, right? So we partner with multiple different organizations in our 8 states and around. So even if you are not in our 8 states, but you are looking to maybe collaborate with us, please make sure you connect with us. Currently, we are even actually working with two amazing organizations, both which are helping people of color under the age of 40, as well as women, to learn how to run for office, right? So we do not teach these things, but we find organizations that are already in the community doing the work. What we do is we make sure we amplify the work that they're doing, make sure that we can collab with them, and whatever they need, we make sure that we are that group that can help them do these things. And these two organizations that I'm speaking about are Dare to Run and Outrun. So please look them up as our partners. You can go onto our website and see some of the other partners in which we have worked with. As you can see, as I spoke before, we have an alumni group of fellows. And these two quotes, one is from our alumni fellow, and the other is from our what we would call a legacy fellow, who has done 2 years. So this is her second year, has come back as a leader and a digital fellow as well. And we just wanted you to see from here, actually, I guess you could say, from the perspective of an actual fellow, of what they get out of the fellowship. We are going into our 5th cohort coming up in the fall. So for anyone who would like for their young person or for themselves, 18 to 25, to be able to work with 1K and learn about organizing and community outreach, please feel free to connect and contact with us. And you can glance, greatly at the quotes in which both of our fellows have wrote in regards to learning their voice and being able to work with this organization and pushing them to be leaders within their community. And that is our goal.
I am Dr. Brisha Rochelle, the National Outreach Coordinator. And as you heard my dynamic team just speak, all of the words and the power that exudes from everyone is phenomenal. As Lily Jackson said in reference to those numbers that she gave, those numbers are individual women. And those women have emotions that are connected to the community, and the community is connected to all the things as outreach we do. And we had the opportunity to partner with Dr. Opal Lee. If you don't know who that is, she is the grandmother of Juneteenth. She's the reason why we have a federal holiday that cannot be taken away, with so many things being taken away. And we've partnered with her with a wonderful partnership that will last forever. And we would like you guys to not only join us on our socials, but to pay attention to those types of organizations that we also partner with, to make sure that we're not just standing alone as an organization doing things. We partner with organizations locally as well. We have house parties to where, as women, we can come together. We can speak about the things that are going on in your communities. If you are interested in having a house party, we can host those house parties virtually. Those house parties can also be hosted in your cities. And even if we're not in your city, we can connect and make that happen. As Aja mentioned, we've had our Earth Day. We had Earth Day throughout the nation in our cities, but we also had a very special one here in Texas, where the women came together and they just relaxed and allowed themselves to breathe, gave space to share the things that they were dealing with. We took rocks and we threw those rocks into the pond to release the things that we're dealing with in this climate. We have an event called Tokes and Jokes, but it's men brunch too. Most of the time, men are left out. Men are definitely our allies. And so we have an event where they brunch too. It's called Tokes and Jokes, but ain't shit funny, where comedy meets consciousness. And a lot of things that are happening right now, we do have to laugh to keep from crying, but those are also safe spaces and opportunities for men to get together and share, because as we are building strong women, it's wonderful to have strong men as well. Just strong people in general is critical. And we are doing this in Texas, but we will also be doing it up north as well. We're still deciding on what state that's in. And if you're interested in having a Tokes and Jokes in your city, as I just said, you can leave that kind of information. Whatever you're interested in, you can let us know.
My name is Tania Johns, and I'm the National Organizing Director. Tonight, I'll walk you through our organizing and policy priorities, our roadmap for building power across 8 states. At 1K Women Strong, we believe organizing is the bridge between policy and people. From Alabama to Virginia, New York, Michigan, and beyond, our teams and fellows are knocking on doors, making phone calls, sending text messages, and building trust with voters each day. As we prepare for the 2025 elections, both statewide and locally and on the national level, our work must meet the moment. In Georgia, we're confronting voter purges. In Tuskegee, our voter guide is helping people make informed decisions. And in Virginia, we're preparing to launch field teams in the next several weeks. And in New York, we're educating voters on ranked choice voting, making sure they understand how their ballots can have real impact. These efforts are grounded in our key pillars: health and healing. We educate voters on Black maternal health and rural hospital closures, and support outreach that equips people to engage decision makers. On economic justice, we connect local policies to real community needs and help voters understand how economic priorities affect public safety and opportunity. With education, equity, and civic power, we provide tools to influence school equity and raise awareness about DOE closures and local education policies. And in equity, we partner with statewide coalitions like Alabama Forward to uplift Black women's voices and strengthen civic participation. In environmental justice, we engage voters on climate and environmental health and show how those issues link to local action. And with belonging and immigration, we raise awareness of Black immigrant issues and support humane policies through civic education. This isn't just information, it's about building civic muscle that lasts beyond Election Day. Organizing is the bridge between policy and people, as I said earlier. It's how Black women aren't just heard, it's how Black women are leading and reshaping what power looks like in the Deep South and beyond. These pillars are our priorities. They guide our strategy and they reflect our commitment to the communities we serve.
In addition to our year-long civic engagement and our political electoral work on the ground, driving towards both primary and general elections every year, our PAC does the work of identifying the candidates that we believe live up to those policy pillars and make sure we amplify their name and get the word out, because sometimes you just have to make it plain and inform people who is for us and with us, is particularly in critical moments. Because while every vote does count, who's in office also very much matters. So we're making sure we're amplifying and doing the work of, like I said, connecting our policy work, our civic engagement work to candidates that are grounded in seeing the future and helping us to build the future that we want to see. So last year we endorsed 8 federal candidates, including Vice President Harris for president. In our digital campaign, as well as direct voter contact work on the ground, amplifying these names, we contacted over 1 million voters across 8 states, both with our congressional and Senate races, as well as the presidential race. This year, learning and building off of that power, we are focusing on state-based candidates. So everything from local judges and school board races, local mayors to governor seats. Last month, we endorsed our first round of candidates, two for governor, both in Virginia and New Jersey, as well as for Detroit mayor, because like we said, these are key seats and continuing to hold back a resistance and continue to fight for democracy against the tyranny we're seeing in our current government and administration. Next month, we also plan to do another round of endorsements coming up August 15th, as well as start our digital mobility, which will include local radio ads, billboards, as well as direct voter contact, again, between text, phones, and doors. If you'd like to find more about our candidate endorsement work or talk to us about candidate endorsement, so we got a little bit of time before August 15th, but again, this is not just a moment, it's a movement. So also looking ahead to next year, we are also looking out for candidates to watch, because we plan next year to both endorse both federal and state candidates with key congressional races, Senate races, as well as governor's races coming up next year. So here's a timeline of what our PAC work has looked like thus far this year. And like I said, we're ready to amp it up and continue to do the work of promoting good candidates that we feel are aligned with our values and the betterment of Black women's lives.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joy Donaldson. I am the digital media manager for 1K Women Strong Inc. And one thing that I do like to say, because it is absolutely true, is that Black women run the internet. We are constantly breaking the mold, rebuilding it, and we are often duplicated, but we can never be replicated. And we understand the power that we hold and responsibility that comes with it. We as an org are honest and we're potent as we navigate these digital streets, because authenticity is not just our brand, it is our survival. So right now we're in fellow season. As Aja shared, we have some amazing fellows that give us and show us democracy through a very specific Black femme and Gen Z lens. And as we continue to navigate digital media as Black women specifically, it is really important that the work that we do is inspiring as well as urgent. So elections are happening everywhere this year. Big one is in my home state of Virginia with the governor's race, but also we have big battles happening in New York as well as Michigan, as Shakia shared. And as mainstream media and legacy media continue to show us that money will always buy influence, independent media, digital media, specifically from Black women, is becoming even more impactful and even more essential. So what we do here through storytelling in video format, in graphic format, and very soon in podcast format, is to make sure that our voices continue to be heard, continue to be shown, that we continue to see people on our screens that look like us, that believe the way that we do, that have accents the way that we do, that wear their hair the way that we do. It is really important for us to continue to showcase what Black women of every gender look like. And so we intend to offer that, because it's not just content, it is lived experience and hard-won wisdom all packaged into social media. Social media is no longer social as it used to be, but we can make it as social as necessary. So videos that tell truth, graphics that really cut through the noise and aren't just up there just to pacify you, but to actually move you is what we do. So we are on basically all of the social media platforms. Right now, our Instagram and our TikToks we're right there at 1K. So if you have not followed us already, you can find us on nearly every platform at 1K Women Strong. it is really important for us to not just chase numbers, but to create impact and to make sure that those that we follow and that are following behind us know what the mission is, and that we continue to stay true to the mission. So one thing that we want to continue to do is have these conversations and to have them out loud. We are not afraid of going deeper because that is why we are here. So if you are someone who is down for the cause, here for the message, we would love to hear from you and we would love to work with you. So if you yourself have a podcast, if you yourself are doing similar work that what we are doing, we would love to sit down with you and have these in-depth conversations and be bold enough to continue to have them online in the face of everything that we're dealing with in 2025 and beyond. Because we have the power to continue to change the conversations, and we cannot allow a bag to get in the way of those things. We have to continue to move the conversations and move the culture forward. So if you are that person, please direct any of the inquiries, any emails, thoughts, all those things over to press@1kwomenstrong.com. That is 1kwomenstrong.com. I'll actually, yep. Thank you, Audra. It is in the chat right now. We would love to hear from you. We would love to work with you. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in the work that we're doing. We continue to build, and we hope that you stay in the building with us and continue to grow along with us as well. So with that said, I will toss it over to Matthew.
Thank you, Joy. And thank you all again for joining us. If you missed at the top of the call, my name is Matthew Reed, and I work as the development director here at 1,000 Women Strong. And yeah, it's a very interesting year, as you all fully understand. At the start of the year, from my hat in development role, there was a lot of reluctancy to support, of course, groups that have initiatives that are loud and proud about supporting folks of color such as us, as we all watched the attack on DEI and on our history, on Black history and any history of color. We felt that crunch in the funding and the support that we see from institutions. And as we all see, we watch the news and watch CBS, and institutions crumble and quiver and shake in fear of what's going on in the Capitol. And while it is unfortunate that there is reluctancy to support initiatives and groups such as ours, we are encouraged by the opportunity that we have to receive support from not just our community, but anyone who understands the plight of our community and the importance of uplifting our community and the importance that and the voice of our community on election day, and not just an understanding that you cannot just come to our community on election day, but there's work that needs to be done 365. And as we just discussed, our team is committed to doing that work. But as we are discussing, we need resources in order to continue to do that work. We are experiencing a funding crunch, very much in dire straits right now, but that is pretty much the rest of the nation, many entities and industries, but we are included. So I say that to say, if you have resources and you're able to donate, I would ask that you scan that ActBlue code to get to our ActBlue page. We have our Bet on Black campaign where we're asking folks to either give a one-time $25 donation or a monthly $20 donation to sustain our movement. Of course, many of you folks work in the fundraising and foundation space. If you know of any grants that or any organizations that are fearless in their support now and really accelerating and not moving in fear, please do introduce us to them so that we can hopefully get in front of them and receive an audience and opportunity for their support. But yeah, donate through the link, Bet on Black campaign, volunteer. That's, of course, money is not the only treasure that we accept from folks, but also the house party and sister salons that Dr. Brisha Rochelle spoke about earlier. If you have capacity to host those, please hit that QR code there and fill out your information. And Dr. Brescia, or a member of our team, maybe even I, will reach out and support you in coordinating that event. As we say, if you can gather folks and discuss policy and the points around you in your local community, we appreciate that. But if you also have capacity to raise money in your network, let us know. We can be there step by step to help execute that event, be it virtual or in person. Yeah, so crazy year. And as far as funding for any projects that uplift Black lives, but we're built for the struggle, so we are undaunted. Having
It
said,
looks like we have one question before we close it out.
I don't think we're gonna. I thought we are gonna, yeah, open it up for Q&A. I was about to pivot.
Yeah.
Yep, I was
Um,
here for Q&A. Any
Perfect.
questions, buddy?
Any questions, and please write them down in the Q&A section or in the chat. I do have one. Is there a sponsor here in Alabama 4,000 Women Strong? I'm not sure what you mean by sponsor, but we are officially members of the Alabama Forward State Table, and have been working in coordination with them again since we landed there in 2021. So that is, I guess, our official state infrastructure partner. But if we're talking about corporate sponsors or someone to uplift or amplify or support our work in Alabama, we're always open to that. So please let me know and reach out if that would be something you're interested in. And I just let me scroll down. Okay, and I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. As Tania mentioned, we are launching our field program in Virginia in a couple of weeks. We're ramping up our Virginia staff. So if you or anybody you know is in Virginia and looking for a contract support for this year, we are hiring canvassers and regional organizing directors. As Aja mentioned, we are currently recruiting our next class of fellows that that started at the end of September. So I want to make sure that we are fielding talent and voices from our existing network. So please send people along our way, or send them to the website to apply. Yeah, and so and just to piggyback off of what Matt said, it has been an interesting year. Every year is interesting, but this has been an interesting year, and what I thought would be an unwavering support of what all types of resistance could look like, not just one form, and particularly not street marches or protests, as been highlighted this year, that you do not see Black women leading in street demonstrations. And I can speak for myself in this organization. It's a safety concern. It is a real life safety concern, that we would put our bodies and faces on the front line at this moment, while battling back this tyrannical government and administration, but federal administration. But the reality is, since January 16th, 15th, since Martin Luther King Day weekend, we have been curating and developing rooms for Black men, women, and children across the country, and the rooms are always full. And that's not a humble brag. And what I mean to the reason I'm emphasizing that is because people are continuing to show up, continuing to fellowship and commune, continuing to do group education, to continuing to share thoughts and experiences and ideas. The resistance might look quiet on TV, but in real life, and our DMs and our partners, this is real. And so and continuing to fund and uplift this work and see this work, we're not waiting on nobody. we are all that we need and more. And so, right, as we continue to build up and continue to exercise our civic and political muscles, we are getting ready for a fight next year. And we are continuing to ask our community to not send us in ill prepared. That's all. That's all. And so who's your partner? So we sat out the New York City civic engagement table, like the citywide civic engagement table for the primary. For the general, we're gonna continue to work with them in addition to do some PAC work and endorse a mayoral candidate on August 15th. So that's our New York work, Robert. And then any group in Los Angeles area. So we've worked with groups as part of our student loan debt coalition work all throughout California, in addition to Los Angeles. So we do have some partners from that particular campaign, Irma. But if you're interested in working with us in the LA area, we definitely would love to. Like we said, we work with partners all across the country on specific projects and initiatives, but we fund year-round staff, programming, et cetera, in 8 states so that we can go deeper in addition to going wider. Any more questions? I was sorry, I'm scrolling down. So thank you so much for your thoughts, Mandisa. I really respect that sentiment and that feeling, but the reality is the boat is sinking and we're all on it. So I could wait for somebody else to figure it out. And I also have an issue with the people creating the problem being the people that should also be in charge of fixing the problem. But that's my personal opinion. And I'm open, I'm open to other thoughts. Are there any proposed partnerships in Georgia? So our student loan forgiveness has, like I said, been continued since 2021. Last year, we held student loan debt clinics, Terry, in Atlanta, in the Atlanta metro area, where we helped cancel over $100,000 of student loan debt. The reality is the SAVE program is under direct attack by the federal administration at the moment. So any help that is still available, we are pushing and supporting, but the reality of that is it's just looking more tenuous as we go. Thank you, Monique. I'd love to work with you as well. I know, Terry, me too. but you can find information on the SAVE Act still, and even though it has just been nixed in last year's congressional budget spending, the actual program doesn't close until January 2026. So please go to departmentofed.gov and look for the SAVE plan. Sorry, I'm reading and talking. Anything else? Yes. Tania, can you speak to Irma's point about the impact of Black immigration or the immigrants of African descent that are being attacked right now in this country?
Yes, thanks for that question. I think what we see is or what the news shows is that there are a lot of Hispanic immigrants that are being deported. What they don't always show is that there are a lot of uh immigrants from Haiti and other people and other places that are being deported as well. These immigrants, they have the language issue. They're not connected with DACA, and so the issues that Black immigrants face are compounded by the fact that they're Black. And so we're partnering, or we plan to partner with immigrant-led organizations to help push the message out. I know in the last few days I have not heard anything in the news because there's other things that are taking place. But Black immigrants are just having just a really tough time with, like I said, without having the access to resources that some other groups may have. And that's just not related just to Black immigrants. That's Black people in general with lack of resources and marginalized communities, so forth and so on. So it is an issue that's not really talked about a lot. because when we think about immigrants, we think about people of Hispanic descent, maybe people from Asia and so forth. And then those Black immigrants are sometimes they kind of fall off by the wayside.
And Kimberly, yes. So Texas is one of our key 8 states, and we're actually at a couple of tables in Texas because Texas is so big. But our footprint or our area print is Tarrant County, Fort Worth, because we believe that's a flippable county, overwhelmingly Democrat registered, but often doesn't turn out at the highest numbers. But yes, we have also signed on as a supporting group in several pieces that are being led by state lawmakers as well as partner groups to fight back against this. But currently we are also bracing ourselves for what comes after, which is the law, which is inevitably the lawsuit. And that's the same route we had to take both in Alabama that won the redistricting for the seat last year, as well as South Carolina. So yes, we see it, we are signed on, but just realistically with the numbers, we're also getting ready for the court battle. Thank you, Pat. Okay, guys, on this Wednesday night, if there are no more questions, everyone has all the emails, as well as you can find all of us directly on the website, on the team homepage, just in case you missed anything. Also, Matt will be sending a remarkable follow-up to this call to everyone that was here, in addition to the folks that couldn't make it. And we hold these at like once a quarter, at following a quarter, just so we can give you an update and continue to keep our community abreast of the work that we have been doing and will continue to do. So it is just, again, my pleasure and honor. I see so many names I know, so I'm just, yay, hi y'all. It's just my pleasure and honor again to host you. And just, this is a humble brag, but in September, 1,000 Women Strong celebrates 5 years. In 5 years, I dreamt of this in my living room and called everybody I knew, and launched it with my own money. Because again, I wasn't waiting for anybody to validate what I knew to be true. And when you build it, they will come. And we have an active member list and subscriber list of over 80,000 folks. You amazing folks who are on this call tonight and show up and continuously show up, our amazing donors who give everything from $5 to and it shows that you see us. And every time you send us a name, an idea, a suggestion, etc., it is tagged, it is read, it is responded to with so much honor and love for the people that make this organization possible, which is the at-large community that we're growing. So on behalf of me and this amazing team of beautiful melanated folks, my name is Shakia Cherry Donaldson. I am the founder and executive director of 1,000 Women Strong, which includes our 3 organizations, 1,000 Women Strong Education Fund, 1K Women Strong, and 1,000 Women Strong PAC. Thank you again and wish you a good night.